After one conversation with him here,
Yes.
I went and got the Guyana Constitution. And
Wow.
yes, so that's what he did for me after one interview.
Okay. Okay. So my song with Barry Salmon, The American Dream, was the right song to come to.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. Wow. So once again, guys, good evening. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome to
Thank
the
you. Thank
office.
you.
Okay, do your thing. I'm here. Well, thank you guys for having me. I just wanted to stop by to talk to my fellow Guyanese, Dr. Linda, and our Caribbean American community. As we know, elections is tomorrow, the 8th of November,
Yes.
and this election is crucial. We have a situation where um, a lot is on the line. Nationally, there's a push by the Republicans, yes, to suspend democracy in America. Suddenly, elections don't matter. Most of them have said, most of these MAGA Republicans, which is Make America Great Republicans, in the context, MAGA might mean something else. I don't want anybody to misinterpret what I'm saying. But most of them have been saying if they don't win the election, they would not recognize the vote. But if they win, they will recognize the vote. So these guys are a threat to democracy. Here in New York, we have several people who are running for re-election. We have the governor who's running for re-election. We have the Attorney General, Letitia James, Governor Kathy Hochul, who's running for re-election. We have Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. We have Congresswoman Yvette Clarke. We have Senator Chuck Schumer. And we have all of our local assemblymen and senators running for re-election. And so I wanted to come by today to ask everybody to go out and vote. We come from the Caribbean with this apathetic attitude of not going to vote because they think, well, he's going to win anyway. And midterm elections historically have two features. One, because the party in the White House or the party in the State House or the majority or in the governorship is the incumbent party. Traditionally, people who don't like some policy or the other or the state of affairs in the state or the country tend to vote the opposite to that party. And also, midterm elections, we in the Black community don't go out and vote. And so, all throughout this decade, we've had results where the Republicans get into either Congress or the Senate or the State House or win certain elections because not because they have good policies, but because we don't vote and we don't count and vote in our numbers. And this election is crucial because the Republicans are suing to stop student debt relief. So they're anti young people. All of these young people who went to college, who are now saddled with so much debt from student loans. The Biden administration granted a reprieve on that, and they're suing to block it. So they're anti-young people. Then they have been advocating for the for Roe versus Wade to be um, uh, aborted, to be overturned for decades. And they have fought and fought and fought and put judges on the court, the Supreme Court, to overturn Roe v. Wade. Now they've accomplished that. So they're now pushing policies that to make abortion a national federal crime without any exception. So if the mother is sick and will be die, the mother must die. If a 10-year-old girl is raped, she must carry the rapist baby. These are crazy, extreme people, extremists.
Now, tell us a little bit, Rickford, about why voting in local elections are important.
Well, voting in local elections are important because that's where the policies that affect you the most are enacted. So in the city council, they affect your schools, they affect taxes, city taxes, they affect lights on the street. They affect your quality of life. They affect whether or not your child will be harassed by police on the street. And depending on the administration, whether or not you get justice. At the state level, that's where state laws are made. So that's where the state now has to protect the woman and pass laws to make sure abortion is legal. Abortion is a health issue, it's an economic issue, and it's an issue of privacy. Do you want the government? I noticed the Republican candidate in Pennsylvania said that a community board, along with your doctor and the woman, must make the decision on whether or not she must have an abortion. Women, you hearing that? And that's the national policy that Republicans want to implement. So before you, if they get their way in New York State, before you get an abortion, you have to go and sit in front of a bunch of Republican men to tell them when you get pregnant, how the baby gonna be fed, how you gonna mind this baby, who's the baby father, is all your private business. You have to go before a board and tell them that before you can decide whether or not you want to have an abortion, or you have to go before this board and present to them some sort of medical evidence. That alone is against the HIPAA Act, but you have to present some sort of medical evidence why you want this abortion if it's going to endanger your life, and they must approve that. That's what these people want to do. This is craziness.
So they're talking about legislation that will force women to have children.
Yes.
But they are cutting the benefits.
Exactly.
For children.
Right. They want your grandmother to die because they want to take away insurance. They want to take away Medicaid, everything.
Social Security.
Yeah. So they want to kill granny. They want to kill granny, but they want you to have a baby that a rapist impregnated you with. And it's crazy. And mind you, before anybody misinterpret what I said, I'm not saying that they will come and kill your grandmother. I'm saying the policies that they would implement would endanger our seniors, because if our seniors don't have Medicare, how would they get medication? Most of these seniors have chronic illnesses, diabetes, high blood pressure, hypertension, heart disease, cancer. And these things these illnesses require permanent medication. The use of permanent medication to enable you to live. So when they cut your insurance and cut your Medicaid, you can't afford to get your medication for you to survive. So a lot of people will suffer. And it's so important. And also, why the Republicans are making a strong challenge for the governorship of New York. Donald Trump is under investigation in New York, both by the Manhattan District Attorney and by the Attorney General. If they get the governorship, they will be able to pardon him. That's what this whole thing is about. And I want to say this to all Guyanese, wherever you are, Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, wherever, the government of Guyana has now attempted to interfere with the United States elections here in New York to influence the outcome. Let me just in case you didn't hear that. The PPP government of Guyana has gone and joined up with the Republicans in an attempt to influence the elections here in New York. It's a serious crime. And I hope there will be consequences. But in the meantime, we don't want to be distracted by that. We want to ask everybody to go out and vote. Make sure you have a plan. Call up all your friends. Call up all your relatives. Take everybody in your home who's eligible to vote. Register to vote whenever you plan. We have a long period for early voting. The actual elections day is tomorrow, November 4th. Everybody go out and vote. November 8th. Yes. Tomorrow, Tuesday, November 8th. I don't know why I said 4th. November 8th, tomorrow, Tuesday. Every person, every Guyanese, every Caribbean American, every New Yorker, Go out and vote. Vote early. Make sure everybody goes with you. Your entire household, go out and vote. For those of you listening in Guyana, call all your relatives and friends throughout the United States. Let them go out and vote. Let them, and I'm going to say who to vote for. Vote Democrat.
And not only in Guyana, since we are a Caribbean power jam, to all the jammers,
all the
Caribbean jammers. If you are not here in New York, you need to call. If you're in Jamaica, Barbados, wherever you're hearing us this evening, call your family members and your friends. It's imperative that you vote.
Yes. Ensure you go to vote. And for those of us who...
And one thing, Rickford, I had a conversation with a few people recently, and it seems as though individuals are not getting why it's important to vote in or to vote Democratic. I'm going to say it, vote Democratic for the Senate. They seem to conflate having the 50-50 Senate and, you know, there's still a complaint that nothing is getting done. Can you explain that just a little bit for me?
Well, the Senate operates based on what is called a filibuster rule, and then you have the majority rule. To pass legislation that has to do with the finances and the financial reconciliation, a financial reconciliation bill or the finances of the country, it goes through a process called reconciliation, and that only requires 51 votes. Mm-hmm. Currently, the Senate is 50-50. But the vice president, who is the president of the Senate, has a casting vote. And that's why the Democrats are the majority in the Senate. But also, the Senate operates based on a filibuster rule. And it takes 15 votes, or two-thirds, majority to overcome a filibuster. So any senator could mount a filibuster, and it requires two-thirds majority, 15 more than 50, to overcome and vote down that filibuster. So a lot of people are saying, well, Biden hasn't done this, and Biden has done that, and the Biden administration hasn't done this and that. They can't do it because they're being blocked by the Republicans. The Republicans don't want this administration to be successful. What they want to do is block everything that is progress for the country. They're not putting country first, they're putting party first. And so it is important that those very close races, people pay attention, go and vote in Pennsylvania, vote for their senator. Lieutenant Governor Featherman is running in that election. In Georgia, you have Democratic Senator Warnock is running for re-election. You have to go out and vote. All these Guyanese and Caribbean Americans in Atlanta, you can make the difference. Go out and vote for Senator Warnock. In Nevada, very close race again, you have Senator Mastos. Yeah. I think it's Cortez. Cortez Mastos running in Nevada. Go out and vote for her. She's running for re-election. In Florida, lots of Guyanese, lots of Caribbean Americans, millions. You can make the difference. Val Demings is challenging Marco Rubio for the Senate seat. Go out and vote for Senator. Go out and vote for Congresswoman Val Demings. She's a fighter. She's a fighter for her people. She's a fighter for her state. She was an impeachment manager. She was the police chief of Orlando. Go out and vote for Val Demings. And then in Arizona, Senator Kelly, Mark Kelly, is running for re-election in a very tight race as well. Those people in Arizona, we have a lot of Caribbean Americans in Arizona, go out and vote for Mark Kelly.
Yes, yes. And that's the reason voting is important. If you want to see the change, if you want to be a part of the change you need to see, then you need to go out and vote.
Right. And here in New York, again, I want to stress, go out and vote for your governor, Governor Kathy Hochul. Then you have the Attorney General, Letitia James. You have your favorite congressman, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. And by the way, the people in those states that I called, you're not only voting for the senator, every single member of Congress is up for re-election. And your vote will determine who holds the majority in the United States House of Representatives. And we in New York State and Brooklyn in particular have a big incentive to make sure we vote and have all our relatives vote across the country, because it is projected that if the Democrats win the House, a New Yorker would be the speaker and replace Nancy Pelosi. So, so it's important for us to go out and vote. But in New York, we have the governor, we have this Attorney General Letitia James, we have Senator Chuck Schumer, Congresswoman coming local in Brooklyn, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, and then you have the local legislators, the state legislators, or everybody's up for election. Go out and vote.
And it's important that you think about who you're voting for. Vote for the people who you know are going to be fighting for you.
Yes, vote for the people who represent our interests, which fight for you. Right now, there's a Republican clown running for Attorney General, running around the place talking about Guyana. He's never heard a word. He can't spell the country. But he's attacking me and the Attorney General. We will deal with that after the elections. We refuse to be distracted. This is not a time for distraction. That's what they want, to distract you, get you frustrated. Let us focus on election. Go out and vote.
So tomorrow, make it a point to be at whatever, whatever the areas are you are supposed to vote. Make sure that you vote. Ask your boss for some time to go and vote.
Yes.
Get up early and go to the polling station, vote. Get off work early, but make sure that you cast that ballot to see the change.
For the Democrats.
Exactly.
Cast the ballot for the Democrats.
So I want to thank you, Rickford, for
and before, voting starts at 7, ends at 9. So make sure you go. You have all day. Make a plan. Take time off. Come home early. Whatever. Go before you go to work.
Yes.
Vote. 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 Vote Democratic.
Vote like your life depends on it.
Because it does.
Vote like democracy depends on it. And Rickford, I want to thank you for stopping by and reminding us and our jammers out there the importance of the vote,
Yes.
especially this year, 2022. And I want to thank my brother for giving us the opportunity to do this. I look forward to being with you next week from 6 to 8, as per normal, Conversations with Dr. Linda. Take care, everyone, and have a great evening.
Good night, everybody. Watching from Guyana around the world.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Have a good night.